This is 40K Today. A better start to any day than waking up next to the great unclean one whispering sweet nothings in your ear. Well, hey there, folks, and welcome to 40K Today. So what we're going to do is we are going to spend the next 15 minutes or so covering everything that is going on all around the world in our hobby, the hobby of Warhammer 40,000. Today is Thursday, the 23rd of July. Would you believe it? I'm Steve Joll, your host. Pretty soon we're going to meet another woman in Warhammer. And she's being interviewed by our very first woman in Warhammer, Tanya Gates, the War Mistress herself. So we'll get to that soon. Next up on the show, a good news story from the 40K community. Isn't it great when people step up to help someone in need, especially when that someone does so much for everybody else? First, though, I wanted to let you know we have a poll question up on our Facebook page right now asking, how did your favourite faction fare after the points changes in hashtag New40K? So from the comments, it looks like most of us play more than one faction, so your answer may vary. I got Demons and Thousand Suns, as well as Tau and Space Wolves, all of which have units that did okay and some that didn't do so well. Out of all of them, I feel quietly, and this is strange, you'll be surprised, most confident about my Space Wolves. That could be way off base. I could be completely wrong. I'm not what you call a top-level player by any stretch of the imagination, but I think I'm going to focus on the Wolves to start off New 40K. So get on the poll right now on Facebook. Just search 40K Today. In our first feature today, Cold Open Stories is the most amazing site for content. Honestly, if you love reading 40K fiction, here is a place that has some great, edited, quality-controlled stories. If you like audiobooks, they do that too. And the real icing on the cake, the jewel in the crown, is their audio dramas. 40K stories brought to life with amazing production values. But Colyn, who runs Cold Open Stories, has run into some trouble. All of it because of COVID-19. He is out of work, which would have meant having to scrap Cold Open Stories altogether. And that would have been an incredible shame for our 40K community. So the community stepped up. I spoke to Andrew Dart from Hobbyvices about Colyn's predicament and what he's done to help. Andrew, thanks so much for joining us on 40K Today. Really appreciate your time. You've known Colyn for a little while. You two are buddies that go back, is that right?
I have. We've talked for the past few months or so, but it's been mostly just a relationship that we shared through the hobby in the past few months. Yeah.
Right. And so we know that Cold Open Stories, I am a big fan. You may or may not know this, but I was lucky enough to have a story published on their site reasonably recently, but I'm a massive fan of the audio dramas that they do and basically all the content. And I really think for our community, for our hobby community, they occupy a space that is important. It's important to have them there. Would you agree with that?
I would agree, and it's remarkable that it's taken, I guess, this long to do that. You know, we see the fan fiction, we see all these works that people produce, but never the audio drama, which is, it's more than just reading the stories. It's producing it with the sounds and the atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. And I think Colyn does a great job at that. And he's just filling that niche that just previously did not have somebody to fill it.
And we know that the site is in a little bit of strife at the moment, just because Colyn, through everything that's happened with the worldwide pandemic, Colyn has publicly said he's out of work at the moment and just not financially able to maintain this. So you and Dan have stepped up, and what have you done to help out?
Well, we obviously have followed Colyn. We interviewed him on our own podcast a little while ago, and we just love what he does so much. So we heard that he's going through these issues with his job being lost and his financial security being in jeopardy. So Dan and I we stepped up and put a GoFundMe together, and the community just rallied around that and donated thousands of dollars. It blew up the limit that we had previously set, and he got a whole bunch of money donated to the community members that apparently had just appreciated what he had done for a year for free, right? He never charged anything for it. So I assume all these people just wanted to pitch in and help him out where he had given so much to the community.
The amazing thing, as you say, this is all free content that people can go and access. Short stories, short works of fiction. The audio dramas are downloadable via your favorite podcast player. It's all free. And the quality of it is really, really high. I work as a radio professional. I've been in radio and television for 30 years. and I'm stunned by the production values and the production quality of the audio drama and the narration. So the fact that it's free is amazing, and the fact that you guys have put something together so that he will at least, for the moment, be able to maintain the website is incredible. How can people donate to that?
So we had the GoFundMe open. It has since been closed. However, if there's a big enough drive, we can reopen it. Or I would recommend anybody that wants to donate to contact Colyn directly through his social media platforms, Cold Open Stories, and just reach out to him. He has a personal PayPal that if you want to donate a few bucks, I'm sure he'd be reluctant to accept it. But, I think it'd be a good gesture for anybody that wanted to donate to just reach out and make that contact. And if not financially, just show the support, right? Leave comments and spread the word about what he's done, because frankly, he's a pillar of the community that largely goes unnoticed because he's in the background of all these major productions.
Yeah, that's right. And he's done a lot of work, as you say, in the background. He's great at also assembling a team of people who get enthusiastic, and I know he's had some help with Cold Open Stories. In fact, if you go to Cold Open Stories now, I've just been in communication with Colyn over the last 24 hours, and there is a relief tab on the website. So if you click on the relief tab, there are details there on how you can contribute and help keep the site going. Listen, mate, we just wanted to say thank you so much for what you've done for him. I know he didn't want to come on the show and talk about it and big up himself.
Of course not, yeah.
But it's great that you and Dan were able to do that, and also great that so many people climbed on and were able to get behind it. And we at 40K today want to encourage people to do that as well. Before we go, where do we find you? Because I know that you do a podcast and you do content as well. So how do people find you and get on board with what you're doing?
So I'm on all social media platforms as @Hobbyvices, and me and Dan Gomez, a fellow Warhammer hero, we have a podcast called Hero Cast, which was in episode 2 before the pandemic hit, and then it just went downhill. So we'll probably be back soon. But if you want to find me, I'm out there.
Everything's had to take a little pause for a while, right? But
that's right.
You can check out Andrew at Hobbyvices, and also once the podcast gets up and running again, HeroCast, we look forward to that. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you, Steve.
That's Andrew Dart. If you want to help Colyn, any small amount would be gratefully received. Check the link in our show notes or go to Cold Open Stories and hit the relief tab. Hey, next up in the show, a woman in Warhammer, or in fact, 2 women in Warhammer, talk Tabletop Simulator and lay some love on the hobby.
Today's episode of 40K Today is brought to you by Frontline Gaming. Frontline Gaming is a one-stop shop for all your Warhammer hobby needs, discounted products, American-made gaming mats and terrain, and a full line of miniatures painting service and daily hobby content. And this can all be found at frontlinegaming.org.
All right, it's time to meet another woman in Warhammer. Natalie is an Ork fan. She paints bright, rainbow-coloured Orks. They're actually amazing to see, and we'll tell you where to find them in a minute. She hasn't played a lot, but she has hopped into Tabletop Simulator with her very own Tanya Gates to give it a try. So in this chat, they talk about how she got into the hobby and how she liked her first TTS experience. These 2 are great friends, so this is a lot of fun when they get together.
I'm so excited to have one of my bestest buddies ever on the show today. Natalie, how are you doing?
Pretty dang great. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So you are our Women in Warhammer feature, and I'm really, really excited for this one. So let's just dive right in. How did you get started in Warhammer 40K?
I was seeing this dude, and he had a massive collection, and I got tired of him always talking up about it. So I decided when he had to deploy, because he's like military-y, that I was just going to go out and buy a bunch of models without telling him, with the plan of him coming back and me knowing how to play and pummeling him. But I never got that far, because then I just got really obsessed with painting perfectly. So I kind of got stuck there.
And if people don't know, you paint rainbow orcs.
Yes.
They are so bright, and they are like almost the opposite of how I approach paint. I paint super muted, and you paint these super bright colors. And how did you, first off, pick orcs, and then how did you decide that you just wanted to make them these bright, flamboyant boys?
So I didn't start off with orcs. I started off with the No Fear box, which has both the Space Marines and the, I think, Death Guard. Is that what they're called? This is gonna make me sound terrible. Oh well, it's fine.
It's not your faction, it doesn't matter.
Exactly, but I hated them so much. It was not fun painting them. I didn't really enjoy any of it. Um, but I had found out when I went into the store to buy it, they're like, yeah, you can totally paint this pink if you wanted to, and they're your models. And I was like, what? Heck yeah! So I never looked back. Bought every single pink shade of anything. Pretty much any company that has a pink paint, I've either been planning on buying it or I have bought it. Because I just need all the pink shades and there's not enough right now. So companies, listen, I want more pink.
Have you ever, like you said that you just fell in love with painting, did you experience any barriers to entry into playing Warhammer?
No, not at all, actually. Thanks to the wonderful Instagram, I met my friend Josh, who is a local. I don't know if he wants me to mention what his handle is, but if he does and he's chill, he's Heretic Models. So
I love it.
cool. He's awesome. But he was just like, hey, I see that you're local and that you're painting. Do you want to play? And I was like, yes, I definitely do. And he was like, all right, cool, meet me here. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And so I went with pretty much every single model that I had built at the time, which was almost a little over 1,500 points, and played a 5.5 hour game.
Yeah, those long games for the first time are like grindingly long.
I was not prepared at all. I had no breakfast. I did not bring any snacks, and I was extremely stubborn, so I didn't want to like buy snacks there. Plus, I didn't know they had snacks there because it was like my third time ever going.
Yeah.
So I was just like, at the end of that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. But I think a smaller game would be wonderful.
Yeah. So you never really played a lot though,
Correct.
right? Like you live far away from the city center, I think, or something?
Well, I just live far away from the actual Warhammer store, but thanks to
Okay.
your advice, I found a local game store that's only like 5 minutes from my place, and I have gotten in a couple of games of Kill Team over there, which I'm pretty sure the guy just like went really easy on me because I won them both, but it made me feel really great. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, I did not go easy on you because we played 9th edition on TTS last night. And how was that for you?
It was a little rough to get started, but honestly, like if it wasn't for the fact that I didn't have like my personally painted models and put it in, I would enjoy it probably more than in person because I don't have to wear pants.
I wasn't wearing pants either. Uh, so, would you recommend TTS to people who maybe can't get to the store or for some reason are experiencing some barriers to playing?
Definitely, because like you showed me, there are a bunch of tutorials on figuring out how to get models inputted, how to get rules inputted, how to set up games and get started. And then if you are awesome and you know people like Tanya and they already know how to play, then they can like walk you through it, which is even better. So,
Yeah. I had so much fun, and I hope that we could play again sometime.
oh, I definitely hope so too.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming on the show, Natalie, my best buddy.
No problem.
That's Tanya Gates speaking to our woman in Warhammer, Natalie. Find her work on Instagram under Blood War Squirrel. The link, probably the easiest way to do this, the link is in our show notes. Okay, now before we go, we have one other very important thing to do.
It's the model of the day, the model of the day, the model of the day.
So let's do this. Lance has hit us up. Using the tag 40K today. So that's how you do it. Hashtag 40K today on your posts, and we'll know to get you. So we're super happy to feature his awesome plague surgeon. I don't know what it is about us on this show, but we seem to have a lot of listeners who paint and play Death Guard. The painting on Lance's model is bang on. Colours are perfect. Highlighting is amazing, especially on that purple cloth that just looks like it's folding and flowing naturally. The photography also here is superb. So I feel like Lance could offer us all a lesson on how to photograph your models. The angle and the lighting, this guy looks big and powerful and dangerous and super nurgly, just the way he should. So check out Lance's work on his Instagram. Once again, the link is in our show notes. And hey, that's it for today. Thanks for joining us. A big thank you to our content producer, Alex Painter, our social media legend, Tanya Gates, and our technical producer, Seamus Ronan, for all of their work again in getting this program together. If you like the show, please get on over to Facebook, give us a like and a share. Let your friends know that we are here. We would really appreciate it. Likewise for Instagram and Twitter and everywhere. And if you feel like dropping us a review on iTunes, again, that would really help us out. We'll see you tomorrow, man. We'll see you tomorrow for a power-packed Friday episode in which Paul Murphy unpacks the Indomitus box and tell us what we all have to look forward to. Paul will help us out with which models are cool, but also how they're going to fit into your army. Until then, for John and Paul and the rest of the team, I'm Steve Joll, and that's what's happening in 40K today.